Gents, throw the hat right quick. What's going on, folks? I'm Divik. Welcome back in to another video. Another chill stream while I give myself some time to get past Moon. Because, freaking Moon, man. If you guys know, then you know. But anyways, today is going to be our first chill stream in a hot minute. We haven't done a chill stream in a while, so it's like, hey, let's bring that back for a wee bit, right? Oh, 5 females. All right. Well, actually, I only need 4. Crack. All right. Perfect. Anyways, how's everybody doing? What's going down? So everybody, go ahead and pile on in. Everybody pile in. Get your snacks. Get your popcorn. Whatever it is you like to have, and we'll get this conversation going. But as y'all know, there's been Halo series, and about 4 episodes have dropped, and a lot of folks are having some issues with it. And I've been watching it too, as I am an avid fan of the Halo series, and I have thoughts. Oh, that's the melee. Okay. All right. So 4 extra females for the M2. Perfect. All right. So I'm just getting 4 extra females and males and whatnot for, actually, just extra females in general for these guys. All right. And egg. Yeah, oh my gosh, I was watching a bunch of meme review videos from Daco before this. But just jumping right in, I don't think the series is bad. I don't think the series is bad at all. I think it's actually really, really good. And sure, it's just taking liberties, but guess what? That's literally everything. A lot of people are treating this like M. Night Shyamalan's Last Airbender, which, yeah, that's the most apt comparison I can come up with off the top of my head here. But here's the deal. Neither film is all that bad. Sure, there are things that are kind of odd design choice type deals with the M. Night Shyamalan film. But once you start making the comparisons, right? Once you start comparing, this is nothing like the show or the TV or the movies or blah 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 blah. Once you start thinking of a series with that critical lens, that's when stuff starts getting the negative impact. It would not surprise me if the Halo the series ends up not getting a second season or what have you, because of all the hate that it's gotten so far. And I personally think it's good. And now bear in mind my history with Halo is I've played all the games. Right? I played the games. I've at least read up or listened to like an audio drama of the books. So I am aware of the game, of the books. I know the stories in them. I've been told the stories in them. So for me to then see that, a lot of folks aren't liking the series because, it's doing stuff that's different, I'm like, okay, but why is that a bad thing? Because, every Halo series up to this point has done something different with the game. Even the games have done something different, right? The games have done something different, like, dual wielding in Halo 2, right? And all kind of different stuff that's been modified from even the games. Heck, the Halo assault rifle, the Halo 1 assault rifle having 32 rounds rather than 60 rounds from the first game, right? Every game has done something different from, the previous one. So to sit here and say that, the entire Halo series, take on the Halo series is bad, is to me a laughable concept. It's like, wait, really? You don't like this for this specific reason over here that is honestly arbitrary? What's up, Fortnite? But, yeah, no, I really like the Halo series. I think it's good. Now, say what you will about the. Okay, that scared the crap out of me right there. Um, but anyways, say what you will about the Halo series. Say what you will about Chief taking off his helmet and blah blah blah, or Halsey being married to Keyes or whatever the case is, or formerly married or whatever you want to call it. Uh, yeah, say what you will about all of that, and that's arbitrary. I'm just saying, me, fact about me, I'm just happy that there's more black folks than Johnson in in the Halo series. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Because Johnson literally was the only black guy in Halo. So having Key, Miranda, and her father be black is something that I'm not bothered with. I'm just like, all right, sweet, cool. Now I don't think it's all that pandering, blah 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 blah. I'm okay with it. I'm completely okay with it. It's like, cool, yeah, sure. I don't see the issue with that personally. It's like, all right, yeah, why not? What's the issue? Let me know. And honestly, that's something you also really want to be careful with, especially criticizing this series, because it's like, I don't know, because there's a lot of folks that want some more representation for us African Americans and whatnot, and I'm all for it. I am all for it. I think it's great. I don't mind it at all. And if you do, then that's fine. But bear in mind that this is an alternate universe from the games and the books. So of course there's going to be substantial differences. Right? There is going to be differences, whether you like it or not. And I'm okay with this. And also, just the Spartan designs are really, really good. They're very iconic. And yes, it's not Blue Team, it's Silver Team, which I kind of agree that is kind of silly. It's like, wait, but why though? But you know what? The characters we do have, hey, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with this. And maybe in this universe, the rest of Blue Team, there was Blue Team, but they like died or something. We don't really know at the moment. We don't really know what the story is, what happened to the rest of Blue Team, if there even was a Blue Team. Maybe they all died during the training program. That could be it. I don't know. But to say that this series is terrible because it doesn't do this thing that you wanted it to do is stupid. It's very silly, if you ask me. I never agreed with this prospect of literally hating a series or a series that takes an original an IP that is well known and then does something different with it than what you would expect. And honestly, I will admit, at first, I was shooketh with Chief taking off his helmet. I was thoroughly surprised with that. But here's the thing. I am one of the people that really wondered what Chief looked like under that helmet. And what we got at the end of, I want to say, Halo 4, was the only visual you only got. And that was when he was already... Like, let's be honest, Chief is old. let's just not even sugarcoat it. By the time of Halo 4, Chief is very old, right? So we don't really get to... We get him described in the books, right? We get him described in the books, but we don't get a visual in the game. And I get why that is. I understand why that is. But there are a handful of people, myself included, that would want to know, hey, what does Chief look like in his prime without the helmet? That's something I've always been curious about, and the Halo the series gave that to me. So, I'm okay with it. I'm completely okay with it. And to those that aren't, well, I'm sorry. But also, and here's another thing with live action. Sure, you can get what Chief is feeling through his voice, right? You can get that, and that's serviceable in a game. But this is a live action series where you need to see people's faces to understand the emote. So there's even a technical reason for why Chief had to remove his helmet. So there's a technical reason for it, and then there's a more literal reasoning for it. And I agree with both prospects because it makes sense for the series. Because how are you? Well, in a game you can get away with that, right? In a game you can get with that, but with live action stuff, you kind of need to see people's faces and understand their emotes. Because and also here's the thing as well. A lot of these guys don't even emote in the games. There's no emotion really. Like you can kind of get it from time to time, but it's not a near constant. You know, it's not always like, oh yeah, the Chief is feeling angry or Chief is feeling like. You actually get to see a wide range of emotions from the Chief in this series, and I think that's fantastic. I think it's great because you actually get to see him emote and you feel for him and all this stuff. I like it. I do. I really do. And this is me, who's been a Halo fan since I was a small child, playing the first ever Halo game from way back when. And yes, the first level when you face the Flood is still the most terrifying level in any game. Let's be completely freaking honest here. Because that first encounter with the Flood is cool. And also, I'm very curious if they will actually even do the Flood in this series. And if they do, what's that going to look like? Because I am very interested to see what they do. Because if we get the Flood in this series, I'm going to lose it. But I do like it. And I'm focusing primarily on the Chief because that's where most people take issue. Right? Is the Chief taking off his helmet. And then you got... So you also get to see Chief as a teenager. Which, again, I'm completely okay with this. Because you actually get to see him. Right? You actually get to understand, like, how he grew up, and you get to see more of the machine before you get to see the man. Because, what they're exploring with Chief now is the human side, the more human side of the character. And this is something I myself have kind of been curious about. I'll be completely honest. I've been really curious about, hey, what's Chief like as just a regular old human? And we get to see him as a kid in the series. We get to see him as a teenager. We get to see him at various life stages, and so it's really freaking cool. And also, I don't know who the actor is that's playing the Chief. I haven't really looked into it much, but the people that they selected to play as a younger, the younger Master Chief or John, is something that that actually works because it does look like that they cast a teenager that looks like the actor as a teenager. And it's really good. I do like it. And there is one thing that I'm kind of interested in, and I kind of found odd at first, but I do think it's kind of cool, is there is a human person in the Covenant. And there is a theory right now that she's getting Arbiter's story, which, I personally don't see it, but there are some that do, so okay. Throw out the crap. I don't need this crap. Literally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I need 2 more, I think? No? 4 times 1? No, I need 16 saddles. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, perfect. I have all the saddles. So let's just cancel the breed on literally everyone. Boom. 35 on 35 here. Oh, there's 35 now because of the okay. I was like, why is there 35 now? Because there's literally freaking a bunch of babies growing up right now. Yeah, I'm gonna raise these guys up right now and add them to the pile. So I have eight females for every 1 male. That's pretty much the plan here. And the only thing that would stink about me getting the extra extra females is if I got a male with a new stat. Okay, so so there's a human person in the Covenant now, and she is apparently a very important figure. Like, I think they're calling her the Blessed One or something like that. I don't know how I feel about that personally. but it is kind of odd. It's pretty weird. I will admit that is very, very odd. And from what I understand, the Covenant really don't like humans. Like, they don't like people at all. All right, hang on. All right, so I don't yeah, I agree that that's weird. I'm kind of curious to see what they do with her. You know, what's the point? You know, what's her story? You know, I'm very curious about that. And I don't hate it. I'm just very curious. And that's pretty much my take on that. I don't know what their plan is. I don't understand it at the moment, but the character is very vague at the moment. But that's okay. I'm okay with this because, again, this is a brand new take. This is a completely different take on Halo than what we're used to. And honestly, I think the series would be very, very boring if they just did beat for beat the story of Halo as we already know it. You know, I think that would be very, very boring. And it's like, bro, we've seen this already. Also, one thing that I didn't mention is the main human operations base is Planet Reach. I am completely okay with that. Because, again, this is a completely different take than what we're used to. And if they did the same thing as for the books in the games, beat for beat, in live action form, I feel like that would be boring. You know, but also, if they do if they did Noble Team, I don't want to see them die again. No, thank you. Like, me personally, I don't like. I wasn't a big fan of it. I mean, I knew they had to die, right? You know, the Noble Team had to die because, you know, the planet had to be destroyed, blah, 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 blah. I know all that. But I do not want to relive the horrid shock of, you know, watching them die again. You know, because I remember when I first played the game, you know, this was Xbox 360 days, you know, this was before I started making content. I remember the visceral shock. I had to, you know, after George died, because George was my favorite character, when George died, I had to pause the game for a good while because I was so shooketh. You know, I was so surprised and just like hurt. So if I were to see that again in live action, now I don't think they're doing Noble Team, at least not in this season, but I don't want to see that again. Just like I don't want to see the death of Cortana again. But you know what? Hey, that may actually happen in the series because, you know, this is Okay, I will say this though. Speaking of Cortana, and also I don't want to see the death of Cortana again. But knowing, or well, the death, quote unquote, like Halo 4 style, because I'm aware of Halo Infinite. I'm aware she is proper dead now. I'm not a big fan of that either. But the fact that we weren't present for it. You know, it was all like spoken about like an afterthought, which I don't necessarily agree with, because I mean this is like the number 2 character of the series, you know, Cortana. So I don't know. I didn't like that. I didn't like that very much. But you know, we'll see. We'll see. Speaking of Cortana, we didn't actually physically get her in the series until episode, I want to say 3. So we just got her introduction not too long ago, and it's like, well, finally introducing one of the most key important characters in the series. You know, 3 episodes in. Finally. That's when they finally showed Cortana in the series. I'm like, alright, finally, there she is. Jeez. Took you long enough. Felt like Halsey at the end of Halo 5. You know, when she finally saw John again. Took you long enough? Yeah, I was like, yeah, there you are, finally, Jesus. But yeah, no, I like the series. I'm not so, you know, I'll say this. The secondary character, the little girl, the teenager, I forget her name, because, you know, meh. You know, this is an OC for the show. I forget, Quan, I think is her name. It's like an Asian somebody. Asian, Chinese, Japanese. I'm not sure of her ethnic background. Someone tell me. Her story is interesting, but it doesn't interest me as much as the Chief being a human, experiencing the things we get to experience as humans every day. That kind of stuff is tragic, but it's not as interesting to me because I call me a Halo fan, Halo purist or whatever, but I'm not sure if I'm really all that interested in her current story because I mean it's not interesting at the moment. Because literally her story is more sad than anything, if you ask me. Like it's more of a sad story. Like her family's like getting slaughtered. Like she lost her dad in episode 1, right? She lost her pops. And her aunt was just killed in this last episode. So if it wasn't very obvious, spoilers for the series, duh. If it wasn't blatantly obvious by now, but I'll say it again. Her aunt was just killed in this last episode. So it's like, bruh, Kwan is losing everybody around her. Her friends have basically, quote unquote, I'll say in quotations, basically turned their backs on her, which, I mean, rude much. But yeah, no, she did kind of escape the planet with the Chief, I think in episode 1? Episode 1, I'm going to say. Episode 1 or 2, one of those. I don't know. But anyways, her story is interesting because she's like running with this other guy that like escaped the Spartan program or something like that. And I forget his name off the top of my head. But yeah, like he's escaped the Spartan program. He didn't want anything to do with it anymore, so he like escaped, right? And Chief let him go. Chief caught him and let him go and everything. But I don't know. His story is interesting. He's basically a pirate, and he's got like one good hand because I guess like something happened in the Spartan program, and like he lost all function in one of his arms. I don't know what it is. But he only has one fully functioning arm, and the other one is kind of like just messed up and like, kind of like mangled. I'm surprised he didn't like chop that off and like replace it with a robot arm, like Cat from Reach. Like that would be kind of cool. He has like a. I wonder if that arm's gonna get cut off and he's gonna have a robot arm later. Actually, that's kind of a theory. It's just a theory, a TV theory. Did I just give Matt Pat some ideas for the content? But I mean, he does. I guess he could also do film theory. But yeah, I don't know. I do like the series though. I think it's good for what it's trying to do. It's trying to tell a different story from the games, and I can respect that. I can. I think it's something that's really, really good. And all these angry, visceral, this is not like the games and the books. All these reviews are honestly, okay, I get it. You're not liking the big changes that they're being made to this series that you love. And there are some people who are just recently playing the games, which, welcome to the fandom. And they're immediately jumping on the hate train for the series just because it's not doing exactly the same thing that the books were doing, that the games were doing. And I'm just like, okay, okay, fine, fair enough, but you do realize this is its own universe, right? It did take me a second, and I'll admit, Chief removing his helmet. I don't know if I said it earlier, but Chief removing his helmet in the first episode. I would say if the episode ended with him removing his helmet, I can agree with. I think it was Shadiversity that's actually said this, but like that would have been better as an episode stinger. Like he removes his helmet and the episode is over, right? That would have been way cooler. I do agree with that, but like everything that follows, it's like, okay, really? Now you're kind of doing the most, as my pops would say, or no, doing too much. Well, actually, no, both of those are accurate. he would say something along that line to both those lines. Actually, yeah, doing the absolute most. Like just chill out. And I mean, if the Halo series isn't doing it for you, then just don't watch. Raven Knight, he did a video on the first episode, and he said, I'm not going to watch the rest because just no. I'm paraphrasing here, obviously. And yeah, no, fair enough. If you didn't like the first episode, if you weren't a big fan of Chief removing his helmet, fine. I guess that's totally fine. But I'm enjoying the series nonetheless. I think it's great. You know what? I actually I like that we get to see Chief's face. We get to see him emote further than just turning the helmet head and having a tone in his voice. Because that's I mean, if you want to be blatant, that's really all we got for the Chief. That's all we really got for him. And yeah, wow. Just wow. And really though, I low key want to like move everything and put like another line of UTs with a mail just all over. I'm obviously gonna use this, but speaking of Tyrannus, this is the regular UTs. If you're actually just tuning into actually what I'm actually doing rather than listening to me talk, which you could totally have this stream in a different tab and just listening if you really wanted to. But yeah, no, I fully enjoy the Halo series. Also, Moon Knight. I'm going to talk about that on Monday with the next Guardians episode that I do. I meant to talk about it yesterday, but I want to actually spend some time talking about Moon Knight. And I will say this right now. I love what Moon Knight is doing. It's such a cool. I already knew about Moon Knight. I already knew about the character. He was someone that interested me, and I low key wanted to see him in a movie. But I was aware of Moon Knight. You know, I've seen him in the cartoons before. I think he's appeared in cartoons, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's where I remember seeing him. Where I remember seeing him before appear. I think it was either Daredevil. No, either Spider-Man or something along those lines. It was a Spider-Man series or something, and he appeared. I think he's also shown up in like I want to say in an Avengers show. I don't remember which one, but there was something Avengers, I think, and he showed up, which was really really cool. And it's just also the multiple personalities that they're doing something really, and DID, dissociated identity disorder. It is a very complex, it's a very complex disability that should not be taken literally or lightly. Not literally. That should be taken literally, very seriously, but shouldn't be taken lightly. And I do like what they're doing with the series with the multiple personalities. I do like it. I think it's good. I think it's really good, really really good. But overall, Moon Knight is really really good. The Halo series is really good. I kind of want to. Now we did get to see Hunters, right? We did get to see the Hunters without the armor, right? Now I really want to see the Hunters with the armor now, because I forget what the proper pronunciation name is for the Hunters. But like, I'm very curious to see what they do with that. We just need to see the Hunters in proper armor. We haven't seen grunts yet. I don't think we've seen grunts. They were mentioned in the last episode, but we haven't seen grunts yet. We haven't seen jackals yet. We haven't seen skirmishers yet, or any of those guys. It's just been elites and the prophets. Which the prophets, by the way, look really, really good. The CG on them is top notch. Like, oh my goodness, they look like they got ported straight from one of the remastered games, right? They look really, really good. You can see all the fine details. Like, it feels like they ported the prophets straight from the Halo 2 remastered, right? Or the Halo 2 3 remastered, and you get to see them all properly, right? That's really cool. I like that. The prophets look good. The little wormy dudes from the Hunters look good. Lukigo, I want to say that Lukigo. I don't remember what the proper name is, but I do like it. I think it's great. Yeah, what did you think of the Halo series? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let's have a dialogue about it. All the different things that they're doing with the series, I really enjoy. Because again, if they were to follow the books in the games beat for beat, it wouldn't be as interesting, I don't think. I mean, would it be cool to kind of see Noble Team in live action? Yes, but I mean, if you want Noble Team in live action, just watch that live action trailer. There you go. But anyways, yeah, guys, what'd you think of the series? Let me know in the comments. And that's all I got for today. And remember, kids, remember the 5th of November. Nobody panic, right? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. And I really just did this entire stream with no sound on my TV. What the crap?